Hello friends, and welcome to Game It Up. My name is Dave, and I am not alone. I am being joined by... I'll let you introduce yourself here.
Hello, it is me, FatManandPop, and I'm back again on the podcast once again, but of course under a different name now.
But we're going to do a sort of follow-up to a video I put up last week where me and Jeffrey predicted what Nintendo are going to be up to. Instead, I thought I'd bring on our resident Sega fanboy, FatManandPop, because we're going to be predicting what Sega is up to. Now, I wouldn't normally do a dedicated video to Sega, but we had that interesting trailer. When was that? The Game Awards.
Yeah, and if anyone's seen my reaction video, you'll probably know by now that I am not only a diehard Sega fan, but I practically lost my mind to the point where my lungs almost collapsed. So that should give you some clear evidence right there.
I will be linking that video in the top pinned comment of him reacting. It's hilarious. But I do warn you, there is some very strong language in it.
Yes, there is.
So yes, that's what we're going to be doing. We've picked 5 games each of... So basically, I'll go through what they announced. So Shinobi, Crazy Taxi, Golden Axe, Jet Set Radio, and Streets of Rage are all getting games. Is it this year or just in the future?
I think in the future they're going to show off more trailers this year, from what I've been told by my very positive source.
So Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio, I want to highlight in particular first. Are they remakes or new games?
The way I see it, it's those two, I think they might be remakes. If Jet Set Radio has a continuation from the second game, then this could possibly be Jet Set Radio 3. But who knows?
Because I kind of feel like Jet Set Radio could do with it being a remake, in the fact that it's not been available to most people, has it? So.
From what I know is that Golden Axe is a full blown reboot. That doesn't surprise me one bit. Streets of Rage actually has a proper name now. It's actually called Streets of Rage Revolution, and by the looks of things, it looks like it takes place right after Streets of Rage 4, which is probably a fantastic game. That was an amazing sequel, amazing beat 'em up.
So yeah, because like Shinobi, Golden Axe, and Streets of Rage, those original games are widely available on pretty much any Sega collection they've put out. So you know, if people want to check out the older ones, it's easy to do so. So that's what's your favourite of those 5 of the ones coming out?
Oh, that's a tough one. It's got to be Streets of Rage, man. Like, because if they're gonna bring back Yuzo Koshiro to compose the music again, then it's already a masterpiece as it is. Like Yuzo did such a good job by composing the music for Streets of Rage 4. Well, I would say like 40% of it anyway, because there was other composers involved with that project as well. But if they're bringing him back for Revolution, then happy days. I am all for it.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, is something that me and Sophie will play together, no doubt. But I mean, Jet Set Radio is one I'm most looking forward to, just because out of those 5 franchises, Jet Set Radio is one I've never truly played. I played a demo on the Dreamcast once, but yeah, so it'll be the most new experience for me. So yeah, I was just going to say, before we get into our list of 10 games, like 5 each we chose, there's another rumour I read today. It's concerning sort of Sega related. Is that apparently it's only a rumour, but Switch 2, one of the launch titles will be Bayonetta Trilogy.
Oh, okay.
Which I can see that happening.
Well, yeah, because I mean, Nintendo does own somewhat of a portion of the rights to Bayonetta now, so it kind of makes sense.
They publish the games, don't they? So, yeah. And I thought Sega, she is a Sega character, isn't she? Kind
of in a sense. I mean, Sega loosely does have some involvement with the recent Bayonetta games that Nintendo owns now. But yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that.
Yeah, so I thought that's sort of Sega related. I'll add it to this discussion. So there you go. It's not really a prediction of mine. It's just a rumor I read.
Yeah.
All right, so basically let's go through our list then. So let's go through. If this is predictions, I was thinking more wants than predictions, but they're kind of predictions as well. So what is your first prediction then?
Right, so my first prediction at number 5 is Eternal Champions, and of course I've mentioned this in one of my previous videos, where there was a bunch of Sega leaks where 99.9% of their IPs had their trademarks renewed, and Eternal Champions is one of them. And now this could mean one of two things here. This could mean either reason number one, Sega has finally opened up a fighting game department to actually let their top three fighting games coexist side by side, or reason number two, they've outsourced the project to a different an outhouse studio to take on the challenge on developing said fighting game. But because if they do announce Eternal Champions this year, then that means that Virtua Fighter 6 is going to get announced in the future, which is clever marketing on Sega's part.
Oh yeah, definitely. So the thing is that I don't know much about Eternal Champions other than what I've seen you tell me about anyway, and also I've been reading through the Fleetway Sonic the comic stuff, and they had some Eternal Champions stuff in there as well. So they should really release. I want them to just release, like they do with the IDW comics, just release hardback copies of those comics.
Yeah, like that would be nice. Like the one thing I will say though to Sega is please do not mess up Michael's work. Because I mean, yeah, Michael Laham tragically passed away a few years back, which obviously it's kind of sad to see that he won't be here if a new Eternal Champions game ever gets made. But what I will say is this though, is that to Sega, please pay respects to the source material, because the story for Eternal Champions is fantastic, especially the cancelled final installment, Eternal Champions: The Final Chapter, was going to conclude the trilogy altogether, way before each character within the roster was going to have their own little spin-off game. For example, my all-time favorite character, Rax Coswell, was going to have his own 3D fighting game involving him and a bunch of other cyborgs and robots. Jetta Max was going to have her own Circus Tycoon game for some reason, and Thomas Blast Chavez was going to have his own first-person shooter taking place in Vietnam. Goodness. So it's the list goes on. Like Eternal Champions was supposed to be a big universe, and sadly, it just got shot down because Sega sabotaged it for Virtua Fighter 1 to be successful. Which, don't get me wrong, I love Virtua Fighter, but if they announce Eternal Champions first and release that game first before Virtua Fighter 6, which they've already confirmed that game, already in development, then no doubt, this basically means that the fighting game department or the outhouse studio is existing within those 1 or 2 scenarios, and I hope to God that comes true this year.
Yeah, so would you obviously you want to see a new Eternal Champions game, but you just described the different characters having their own spin-off games. Would you like to see that happen?
In my case, I would say no, because the reason why is that they tried that with Larson Tyler and Shadow Yamato and 2 other characters within the roster, and I'm gonna be honest, mate, their spin-off games are absolutely horrendous.
Oh really?
Yeah, Larson's was a choppy frame rate beat 'em up on the Game Gear, while Shadow's was a ugly, poorly rendered, no soundtrack 3D animated beat 'em up.
Wow.
Both games were awful. That's all I can say of that.
Oh, I see. Okay, so best keep it as a fighting game.
Yeah.
Nice. So let's move on to my first pick, and this is kind of like a safe prediction, I reckon, but I think some sort of Sonic remake.
Do you know something? There's been multiple back and forth about that. Because there's been tons of rumors of either of a Sonic Adventure series remake or a Sonic Heroes remake, and it's been going back and forth for quite a good year or two right about now.
Yeah, I've heard of the Sonic Heroes rumor, and I'm thinking if they did do that, but on the Xbox, say the 2 Sonic Adventure games are available to buy on that Xbox store, but Sonic Heroes isn't, and basically if they were to do a Sonic Heroes HD, then they would need to put the Sonic Adventure games on the Switch. in whatever form, because Sonic Heroes story follows on from Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah, it does, but there's one major problem with that because one half of the voice cast is dead, and two, the engine that Sega was using during that time got bought out by EA, which no surprise there. So unfortunately, they're gonna have to restart everything from scratch as a remake. They can't do a HD re-release.
Is that of Sonic Heroes?
Yeah.
I see. So maybe the adventure games then.
Yeah, it's going to be Sonic Adventure 1 2 as a remake. I mean, if they're going to do a remake,
that would be my preference.
Yeah. But if they are going to do a remake of Sonic Heroes first, that's going to be kind of interesting because that's going to be like kind of like the sequel prequel, I guess that's the best way to describe it. Like taking place in the future before the Sonic Adventure series was even announced.
And here's the thing, because it's been hinted, obviously that's the third Sonic movie is going to be based on Sonic Adventure 2, so it'll make sense to have a re-release of that game to get people more excited for the film, wouldn't it?
Most definitely, yeah. Like that. I mean, that would be great advertisement. Like if they just like announced, a Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 remake collection, then happy days. Like I'm down for that.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like it's alright. I'd be happy for a remake as well because we've had quite a few new Sonic games lately. We've had we had Frontiers a while ago. Then they did Sonic Superstars, and then there was that Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog one that came out.
Oh, that came on Steam. Yeah.
Which got well received, didn't it? And then there's the Apple Arcade one that people are raving about. So,
yeah, and it turns and funny you mentioned that one. I think it's called Sonic Dream Team. It turns out the devs who worked on that also worked on 2 Point Hospital.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it turns out they're the ones who worked on it, so it's kind of a shocker.
Let's get a console port for that then.
Oh, definitely, man. Like come on, Heart. Like, what are you doing? Get it off the App Store. Put it straight onto consoles, please. We're begging you.
I'm sure Apple's paid them for exclusivity, but that must run out after a while, mustn't it?
Hopefully.
Yeah. Right, let's go on to your next pick.
Okay, so number 4 is Altered Beast, and of course, anyone who owned a Sega Saturn, a Sega Mega Drive, who owned a Sega Mega Drive like me, of course, everyone had Altered Beast. This was the standard game that you must have on your system, and my God, it is a classic through and through.
Oh yes, I mean, I remember playing this at a friend's house, and he basically played it in 2-player, and he was just telling me, I'm the one wearing that and stuff, and he turned into a bear, and I had no idea what was going on. He just says to me, I'm the brown one now, and I'm like, what's going on here?
And that's what I love. That's what I love about the OG Altered Beast game is that it had, not only did it have like a lot of like Greek mythology thrown into it, but it was like playing its own role of turning the resurrected warrior into a wolf, a bear, a dragon, a rhino, like anything you can think of under the sun. But of course, Sega tried to do a remake back in, I think it was like 2004, 2005 with the Project Altered Beast game that came out for the PS2, which I'm going to be honest, that was a boring yet slow hack and slash game. It was not great at all, honestly.
Oh no.
Absolute waste of money.
See, I've never actually beaten Altered Beast. What would you like to see happen with it? Like a remake of that, or just...
For me, I would say... like the way I see it is that since Sega did try to do a remake of it, but in a completely different genre, the way I see it now is that Sega is going to play it safe with Altered Beast. I highly doubt they're gonna pull the whole 3D hack and slash all over again. They're probably gonna go back to regular classic beat 'em up style, possibly 2D animated, possibly 3D animated. Who knows? And just try and pay respects to the original source material, but of course extend the gameplay a bit longer. Because funny enough though, the record time to actually beat Altered Beast is literally 12 minutes.
Wow.
So yeah, you probably need to extend it to roughly around I would say 7 or 8 hours of gameplay, and there you go, problem solved. Just keep it as
at least.
Yeah, keep it as a good 2D platforming beat 'em up with obviously the same mechanics and whatnot. Add some new ones in there to make it fresh and new. Give the animations more fighting styles, more moves. Stuff like that would actually make it more refreshing.
Nice. All right, so on to my next pick, and this is one that I had on the Dreamcast. I think there was a Game Boy Advance version as well, and that's Choo Choo Rocket.
Well, funny you mentioned Choo Choo Rocket, because I think there was supposed to be a Choo Choo Rocket game that was supposed to be released back on the Xbox One and PS4, I think, but I think it got scrapped. I don't know why though, but
no, but it's like I loved that game on the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
It was like it's sort of like a tile puzzle game, wasn't it? So
yeah, it was. It was like because it had those little mice and that weird cat thing, whatever it was.
Cat, yeah.
Yeah, it was like chasing them around.
So I don't know whether I'd see like a remake or just it could be just the same thing but different puzzles, but honestly, and don't hate me for saying this, but I think this would make a really good mobile game.
Yeah, I kind of see it going down the mobile route, unfortunately. But if Sega is clever enough to actually make it like I would say, make it like Super Monkey Ball, where it has like tons of levels and it's more colorful and vibrant, then hopefully it might have a high chance of getting a new game in its series, which in my eyes, it's a small game, but it does deserve a second chance.
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking because this sort of game is just made for a touchscreen, and it means the Switch could have it as well. So
yeah,
I mean, obviously on the Dreamcast didn't have that, but I still very much enjoyed it. But just imagine that would be so addicting, just being able to place tiles down just by touching on the screen and dragging and stuff would be so good.
Oh, most definitely, yeah.
But yeah, so I think that is a way they can bring Choo Choo Rocket back and have it be like relevant to today's audience.
I would hope so, man. Like I know Choo Choo Rocket back in the day, when the Dreamcast was around, was big in Japan. It was massive. But
I can imagine.
yeah, but given how times have changed, I'm not sure if the audience is still there for it. I know the Somebody Amigo fans are still there, which obviously
that's getting new games, isn't it? Still.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see if Choo Choo Rocket can stand the test of time with that.
I think the last time we saw them was in the first Sonic All Stars Racing. The Choo-Choos were in the car, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. I think that definitely was the last time we saw them, didn't we? Jeez.
Yeah. Okay, your next pick. So this is one where, as you explain it, I'm going to be on Wikipedia reading about it because never heard of this one.
Okay, so number 3, which is a game I'd never played because I never owned a Sega Saturn back in the day, but it does deserve a second chance, and that's none other than Deep Fear. Now, Deep Fear is the best way to describe it. It's basically Sega's Resident Evil clone, except it takes place in an underwater facility.
Do you know, on Wikipedia, the first screenshot there, I just thought this looks like Resident Evil.
Well, fun fact though, it turns out Deep Fear was supposed to be a Resident Evil project, but Capcom turned down the idea. And of course, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis was made instead. So the people at Capcom who left that company for the time being approached this idea to Sega, and Sega was like, "Do you know what? Let's go with it. Let's make Deep Fear our final game for the Sega Saturn before we release the Dreamcast." And what's ironic though is that this game has English voice acting in full American, but it never was released in America. Only in Japan and Europe got the game.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing that. Yeah, so it came out in July in Japan and Europe, and September in the UK in 1998.
Yep. And what's more interesting though is that the main character, John Mayer, his voice actor also voices L-Blaze from Virtua Fighter 5, which obviously so it kind of shows you that he's done work with Sega in the past before. So it's kind of nice to see that. But with Deep Fear, there's two different ways that they can go about with this as a remake. They can either pay respects to the original source material in terms of story and gameplay, where it's like the where it keeps the original storyline with better voice acting and dialogue. But of course the gameplay stays the same, where it's more like the whole camera changing where the character moves to a different direction within that particular room, right? Or or idea number two, they can go with the whole third-person shooter aspect, just like what Capcom did with the recent Resident Evil remakes.
Yes, yeah. So I was thinking it's always gonna be harder to release a game like this. Imagine the setting of it is unique enough to Resident Evil that it could stand out. But any time a survival horror comes out, it's always gonna get compared to Resi, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. But with Deep Fear though, from what I found out is that Resident Evil fans who recently got their hands on it, yes, recently, not in the past, but they gave this game a go via emulation, and they were like, do you know what? This game is actually pretty damn cool. Like I want to give this a try.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's something I'd definitely be interested in checking out if it did get a release. But yeah, I'd say if they did do, I think I'd prefer if they change it to over the shoulder rather than fixed cameras. That's just my preference in general. But yeah, it could be interesting for a what's the word, a historical interest sort of release.
Most definitely. And what's even more interesting though is that the monsters that you fight in the game, the ocean sea
Mutants.
monster, yeah, mutant sea zombies, or whatever you want to call them. It turns out the inspiration for them, especially their transformation sequences, come from John Carpenter's The Thing. Which,
Oh, nice.
so it kind of shows you that the director of Deep Fear is a big fan of that film. So it's nice to see that they took inspiration from that.
Okay, so I'm gonna go. So my third pick here is one that I don't think this is purely because of Sonic the Comic that I hold this so fondly, as I haven't played the game all that much, and that's Decap Attack.
Okay, so I'm trying to remember some bits about Decap Attack because I didn't really play much of it as a kid, but
So it's a 2D platformer. You play as Chuck D. Head, who's like this mummified corpse that's been reanimated, and you get Head, who's the skull, and as sort of like your power up, and you can throw him as a projectile.
right.
And it's basically just a run-in-the-mill 2D platformer, nothing too special. But
Oh yeah.
because of that Sonic the Comic, where they made it all sort of Monty Python style humour, sort of Calamity James from the Beano style gags, and all that, and it's just so stupid and so funny. I just want to see this come back, and I'm thinking I don't want to see it come back as a 2D platformer because, like I say, it was just very average, run in the mill, nothing special. I would like to see it come back as a 2D hand-drawn animated point-and-click game, and I want Nigel Kitchen to write it.
or better yet, in my opinion, it should be more of like a fast-paced, random slapstick humor style type of like 2D platformer, where it feels like the good old days of 90s cartoons, where the humor is just so random, so funny, to the point where you just bust out laughing, thinking like, what is going on here? But
it's like,
in a positive
crazy
way.
stuff happening in the backgrounds. You want like slime dripping randomly. You got like rats holding up signs saying cruelty to rats and stuff like that they had in the comic, and you want stuff like that. And I'm just wondering. So I just thought, if it was an adaptation of the comic, then a point and click style story would be good. But yeah, if it was a platformer again, like a really reinvent it as a platformer, that would be good. But just get Nigel Kitchen to bring that humor because that humor from the comics isn't in the game. So just bring the humor from the comics and just reinvent the game in that way.
Like I will agree with you on that. Like that would be a nice little throwback to the Fleetway comics, even though Sega refuses to acknowledge it. But still, it would be nice.
Definitely, because I think the nostalgia for that comic, especially from UK fans, is coming back. Because a few years ago, a podcast about it called Sonic the Comic, the podcast came out, and I've been listening to that, and that's been getting me back into the Fleetway comics, really. So,
Nice.
yeah, and I think Sonic the Comic has become more relevant than it has been in the last 20 years now because of
It
this
definitely
podcast.
has, though.
Yeah.
Not to say that the IDW comics of Sonic the Hedgehog aren't bad. It's just
I
it's
like
just,
the
it's just
IDW ones.
yeah, but it's nice. It's nice to see that that Fleetway is actually getting some attention, even though they unfortunately no longer exist anymore. But still, it's nice though. You know what I mean?
And I have to say, I don't even mean this nostalgically, because there were issues I'm reading now that I didn't read as a kid. But my God, it's bloody good, that comic.
It is like the Eternal Champions comic shorts that they've made. Some of the dialogues feel cheesy, but that's like 90s cheesiness. So I can't really criticize it for that.
Oh yeah, like the Streets of Rage was pretty much it knew what it was. It was doing that sort of noir style, gangs on the streets 90s sort of setting.
Yeah.
Like, and it knows they knew what they were doing with that comic, and yeah, bring some of the writers and artists to do a Decap Attack game, like to help to assist with it anyway. That would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
It'll never happen, but I can dream.
That's all right, man.
This is wants, not predictions. So your next pick I see is one that I think would be a very popular pick amongst a lot of people.
Oh yes. Okay, so I picked this one not for myself, of course, but I picked it for obviously Sega fans who know this IP very well. That's none other than Knights. So, of course, there's only been 2 games in the series, Knights Into Dreams and Knights Journey of Dreams. And I think, and I personally believe that this time around, like Knights should go the route of the gorgeous looking levels that you fly through, but the boss fights should be horrifying, like something that you would see out of a horror film or a horror game. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
That type of like style that doesn't fit the world, but at the same time it kind of does, because Knight is supposed to be the guardian of dreams, right? He's supposed to be the character who's trying to tackle nightmares from children.
I didn't actually know what the story was of this at all.
Well, I do research on this myself, my friend. So I do a quick Google search to find out what the story was about. But other than that, though, with Knights, like this game definitely deserves a comeback. Like this character has been referenced numerous times within like multiple Sonic games within the last 15 years, and yet sadly, this IP barely gets any attention from the company.
It does. It kind of like when you hear Sega, obviously Sonic's the first one that comes to mind, but I do hear Knights as the second one people mention, even though it's only had 2 games and they were ages ago. One was on the Wii, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But
and people were literally saying if there can't be a new Knights game about Yuji Naka, he needs to come back to Sega and work there. Mate, Yuji Naka is in prison. Like how
isn't he?
Yeah, so how are you gonna bring him back if he's locked up in a cage for scamming people via cryptocurrency?
So is it that they can't do it without him because of rights issues, or?
No, they can do it without him. It's just that the ideas aren't even there.
Oh, I see. But yeah, so I'm sure someone could come up with something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know Knights too well. So, but it would be, like you say, it would be good to see. Again, it's like a legacy release, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. And
or even put the Saturn game on the eShop or something,
Yeah, exactly. Or the PS2 version of that. Like that would be nice.
Just make the older game available. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so here's one that I very much doubt they'll do. Because obviously there's Rice Star, who's quite an interesting game. I like this game. It's on like all the Mega Drive. It was even on the Sonic Mega Collection, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But it's on like the Mega Drive app on the Switch. It's on all the collections you buy. So Rise Star is a 2D platformer which has this. You play as a star with arms and legs, and he can stretch out his arms to grab things and stuff, which was an early design for when they were brainstorming a Mario killer, basically, for Sega before they settled on Sonic. It's going to be a rabbit that used its ears to do that. But they turned that idea into Rise Star. And I just think it's a genuinely really good game. And one thing I say to Sophie a lot, and this is something that a character with stretchy arms could do really well. I love swinging mechanics in games.
Yeah.
So imagine if they made, say, a 3D platformer with Rise Star and just had an emphasis on his swinging mechanics. That would be really fun.
It would, and funny you mention this IP though, because it turns out my 8-year-old nephew likes Rise Star, and
your 8-year-old nephew has good taste.
Oh yeah, he definitely does, because I've got a plug and play Sega Mega Drive, just like a few feet from in the room that I'm in.
Is it the Mini?
And not so much the Mini. It was the one made by Act Games, the Mega Drive Flashback, and it turns out my nephew got bored of playing Sonic games one day. He was like browsing through the games that I like downloaded on there, and he came across Rise Star. And he looked at me saying Uncle, like what's Rise Star? I was like, oh mate, this is a classic platform. You should try it out. And he was glued to it. Like nice. He could not stop playing it. Like, and he's been literally asking me when is Sega gonna make a new one? When is Sega gonna do one? And I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like maybe this might have been the last one, but who knows? It might actually bring it back in the future.
Well, he and I can start a petition.
That would be nice.
Got 3 signatures already. I'll get Sophie to sign it. That's 4.
And I'll try and get Satan to sign the other one. That's 5th. So there you are.
Yeah, so we need like 100,000, don't we, before it's discussed in Parliament?
Definitely. So,
yeah. There we go. I'll get there and discuss whether Sega should make a new Rise Star game.
Only time will tell, mate. Only time will tell.
Nice. Okay, so let's go to your last pick now.
All right, that? So number 1.
Oh yes, I just saw.
So number one is none other than the Vector Man series. Now, a little fun fact though about this game is that does the name Blue Sky ring any bells to you?
Ice Age.
Yeah, well, it turns out Blue Sky used to be called Blue Sky Interactive, and they were the guys who worked on Vector Man 1 and 2. And they were supposed to stay as a video game development company, but the problem was that the only ideas they had was the Vector Man series, and they couldn't think of anything else to keep themselves going.
Yeah, I mean, I only know this game from the Sonic Gems collection.
And of course, I cannot forget the legendary music composer who's I guess you could say the European Yuzo Koshiro, John Holland. Like the guy did so well with the music for Vector Man 1 and 2, despite the software limitations that he had, because his original goal was trying to add techno trance music into both games, But for those who want to know what Vector Man is, for those who aren't aware of it, it's a platform. It's a 2D platform shooter. Not so much of a run and gun style game, but it's more like I guess you could say cross with Mega Man and Metroid, except Vector Man can turn into like a robot fish, a robot bomb that can roll around, and I think also a robotic plane. I think.
I didn't actually know any of that. I did play it on the Gems collection, but I didn't get very far into it. But
the most iconic thing about the first game though is that you're basically trying to shoot these TVs to make them spin around until they like explode these white sparkly collection bits. I guess that's the best way to say it. But for me, there was supposed to be a Vector Man 3 though, which got cancelled because Sega thought it'd be a great idea to put out the Vector Man 3 alpha testing demo on the internet for everyone to see, and my god, it received so much backlash, and I mean so much backlash to a T. Oh yeah.
Wow.
And the reason why it received so much backlash was because it was going to be a third person shooter, and
Yeah.
I
Oh
can see
wow.
why. I can see why the backlash was so immense. But
Mm.
with me though, I think since that obviously has now kind of haunted Sega quite a lot after all these decades. Just like with Altered Beast, I think they're gonna play it safe with being a platform shooter for Vector Man 3. I think that's the best way to go about it.
Yeah, I think especially because it's been so long now that people can
Yeah.
forgive the next one being similar to the other ones.
And just like with Streets of Rage 4, please bring back John Holland to compose the music for Vector Man 3. Please, Sega, just do it. Like that guy makes some amazing techno trance music. He knows his work. And if they bring him along to compose the music for the third installment, then my God, people are gonna be playing that soundtrack in the clubs for weeks. I can tell you that right now.
You should put the Vector Man soundtracks as one of your videos.
Do you know what? Funny you mentioned that. A good friend of mine actually requested me to do that, and that's going to be on the way pretty soon.
Nice. Oh yeah, I'll look forward to that. I want to hear the soundtracks again at some point, but we'll get there. I don't
Mm.
know how fair Vector Man's available at the minute. It's on collections, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
I'm
it's on
sure.
it's on the Sega Mega Drive collection. That's all I know. So that's
I'm
like the best way
sure.
to play it on a modern system.
I'm sure many people that are listening to this will probably own Vector Man without knowing they own it.
Well, like I said, if you have a Sega or Genesis Mega Drive collection
Yeah,
on your Xbox One, PS4, Switch, Steam, doesn't matter. Like it's on there. It's in that library. So go check it out if you want to see what we're talking about.
he's another Rice star, isn't he?
Kind of.
So for my last pick, I at first put down Monkey Ball, but then I thought actually, I liked Banana Mania. I'm good with that for a while. So I
Yeah.
said, actually, let's go for another. This is a one-off release that I would be happy with an HD remake of it. That's Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg.
Right, because I was gonna put Billy Hatcher on my list actually, but I was quite torn with either Billy Hatcher or Knight, so kind of just went with Knight of course. But Billy Hatcher, like that was a long forgotten game by Sonic Team because that was made by the same developers though. Um, and the sad truth is, we never saw it again after that. Like it was only available for GameCube, wasn't it?
Yeah, and basically, I actually played this game again a year or two ago. I just got the GameCube out and was just showing it to Sophie, and it really just So the whole concept is I don't know what he's meant. Is he meant to just be a boy dressed as a chicken, or is he a
I
chicken
bel I
hybrid?
believe
Or
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
and his name's Billy Hatcher, and you basically have to roll eggs around and you can sort of use them to sort of bounce yourself higher and things like that. And it's basically just get to the end of the level, whatever. But this is one. This doesn't need a new game. Doesn't need sort of like anything reboot, whatever. What I would just want to see is just an HD port of it, kind of like Ty the Tasmanian Tiger got.
Yeah.
That's all it
But
needs.
yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that, but if Sonic Team is willing to go above and beyond by making a new installment where some of the eggs have been infected, they've now gone evil, they're gonna burp in people's faces or something stupid along those lines, like that if they're gonna make a sequel like Billy Hatcher 2, then yeah people might be on board for it, and they could possibly do a HD re-release of the first game for modern systems in the future, which would be nice.
Are you saying that the main villain could be some sort of Eggman?
Ah, and he's got the master plan as well.
Yes.
But
But
with
yeah,
uh, but
so
with Billy
yeah.
Hatchet, sorry, mate. But with Billy Hatchet though, I think what they need to do to try and make it more unique is add some new mechanics if they're gonna make a new installment.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's so much you can do with that though.
Hmm.
With like the different eggs doing different things, like different abilities and whatnot.
Yeah, and I think even without the eggs though, you can give Billy Hatcher like some type of like combat system where he can use the eggs as like giant tennis balls to attack the enemies and stuff.
Oh yeah, it's kind of made me think. remember Glover, where you could like turn the ball into different things to do
Oh yeah.
different attacks, and yeah, Banjo-Kazooie did different things with the eggs in the sequel, didn't they? Yeah, there's a lot of things you could do with him.
Most definitely, I would be down for a new Billy Hatch game. Like, it wasn't like one of my top favorites, but it does deserve that second chance. Like, we saw it once, we never saw it again.
Yeah, definitely, and even like he was in the first Sega racing game, but then he wasn't in the second one, which annoyed
Yeah,
me.
which is a bit silly though, to be fair. Because he is part of like the whole Sonic team type of group. I guess you could say.
Yeah, but oh well, is what it is, I suppose. But
Yeah, true.
so yeah, so those are basically our wants for. So again, we know those 5 we mentioned: Shinobi, Crazy Taxi, Golden Axe, Jet Set Radio, Streets of Rage. They've announced that there's new game, either new or remake of those games are coming at some point. But obviously, Sega did say that there's more to come that they haven't announced yet. And what ones were ones that got leaked? I know Eternal Champions was one.
Eternal Champions, Altered Beast, and Kid Chameleon, along with
We haven't
countless.
mentioned that.
Oh, I know, but for me, I'm not really much of a fan of Kid Chameleon. But what I can say is that they had other IPs that have been renewed as well. So with Sega, anything is on the table, and I mean anything is on the table at this point. Like they could announce like possibly a new House of the Dead. They could possibly announce a new Afterburner. We don't know. Like anything is right in front of them, thinking, what should be next to come back?
Yeah, so the future's looking bright for Sega at the minute, so that's
Most
pretty
definitely.
good that they're going to bring out. I mean, no doubt there'll be those 5 games. No doubt there'll be some sort of Sonic release this year. This is just what they do in there. But yeah, I'm looking for. If now, I mean, there's a Sonic movie as well, so they'll probably make a lot of money out of that. So
Most definitely.
Yeah, hopefully Sega can really give the fans what they want this year. And I'm really excited. I was never a Sega kid growing up. I had a Game Gear, but I was very into Sonic, and I enjoyed Sega's other games then. So Sega is very nostalgic to me still.
Well, it's more nostalgic to me because that was like the Sega Mega Drive was the first system I grew up with, and of course, I got the Sega not Sega. I keep saying Sega Saturn for some reason. The Sega CD, sorry, the Sega CD. Afterwards, fell in love with that, even though some people criticize that quite a bit. Got the 32X, the biggest mistake I ever bought. Honestly, it was
Do you still have it?
Nah, I have to let you sell to buy myself a Nintendo 64 back in the day.
You probably get a lot more money for that now.
I know. I was rushing to like try and get the latest system when I was a kid back in the day. That's what I used to be. But then of course obviously the Dreamcast came out, and I fell in love with Sega again after their debacle with the Sega Saturn. And yeah, it's nice to see that Sega is looking back at their old IPs and saying, you know what, let's bring them back. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's really good to see, and they are looking good, the ones that they showed off. So
Definitely.
yeah, fingers crossed there. Have we mentioned every Sega franchise yet? Not Echo the Dolphin. We haven't mentioned that yet.
Oh no, not Echo the Dolphin. Like, oh man, I know it had a open world, an open world sandbox styled game for the Dreamcast and PS2, and I think if they did that again, can you imagine how gorgeous that game would look?
Oh, it would, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Oh,
definitely.
it would look beautiful. In fact, though, the creator of Echo the Dolphin is still around. Obviously, he's no longer working at Sega, but he did say that he would love to come back and work on a new Echo the Dolphin game. And surprisingly, he worked on another game as well for the Sega Saturn called Mr. Bones for some reason.
Not heard of
so
that.
yeah, so it would be nice if he actually worked on those 2 IPs again. Like, that would be a dream come true.
Okay, but the thing is, there is one Sega game that neither of us have mentioned in this whole podcast.
Oh, really?
And it will be the most exciting Sega game that could get released this year.
Let's hear it.
F-Zero GX HD.
I wish I wish Sega owned F-Zero, but sadly that belongs to Nintendo. Yeah, so unfortunately, as much as I want to get hyped for imagining that a new F-Zero is going to be in the works by
Yes.
Sega, I seriously doubt a remake from them is gonna come to pass, because the rumor is still going around that Next Level Games is doing the remake of GX. So we'll see how that goes.
It's in good hands if it is them. So
Oh, definitely.
yeah, but come on, Nintendo. Like Sega are on a roll, it seems. So give them keep that momentum going by giving them GX to remake.
Oh, that'd be beautiful. That would be beautiful.
Yeah. But anyway, so those are our main predictions. I didn't mention Wonder Boy at all. That was one because I love Wonder Boy 3, but that's already had a remake.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's so nothing for Wonder Boy. That's my prediction.
That's alright, man. That's alright.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that.
I think we've mentioned them all now. Right. What about Marco's Magic Football? Was that Sega?
I I don't think it was. No, I know they made a Sega football game, but I don't think that was them who made that.
It's just because he got an STC strip, so I thought maybe.
Ah, right, okay. Sega Rally might have a high chance of coming back if Sega's willing to renew the license for all the car manufacturers and locations of the racetracks.
Shining Force.
Possibly a new Shining Force game might come out. Shakan the Forever Man, maybe.
Yeah.
Bonanza Brothers.
Oh, I remember them. I remember that.
Yeah, the little Lego knockoff characters,
Yeah,
as I like to call them.
Oh, that's fantastic. This has just turned into how many Sega games can we name?
Yeah, I can't say the Condemned series, unfortunately, because Sega no longer owns the rights to that, unfortunately, which is a bit of a shame. God, I'm trying to think, what other game can they bring back? Possibly Mad World, maybe.
Oh, that's on the Wii, isn't it? I like that.
Yeah, possibly they can possibly bring back Mad World. Do a remake of the first game, perhaps. God, there's just so many IPs I'm trying to remember off the top of my head now.
I think that's Star.
It. Yeah, the main line Fantasy, not Fantasy Star, not the Fantasy Star Online games, obviously, but the mainline Fantasy Star series. If they make a Fantasy Star 5 to compete with Final Fantasy, then happy days.
Yes, Columns.
Oh, yes. Oh my God. If they make a new Columns game, I'm down. In fact, make a Columns 99. I'm down for that.
Oh yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
That like people say, oh, but it's just a rip off version of Tetris 99. I don't care. It's Columns. like I loved Columns as a kid. Like you know nothing, sir. I love Columns.
Oh yeah, I liked Columns.
Oh my God,
Alex Kidd had a recent remake, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It could, even that could possibly get a new installment in the future. Who knows?
Gunstar Heroes.
Oh yeah, Gunstar Heroes. Yeah, that needs a return as well. Oh wait. Comic Zone needs a comeback.
Zone, definitely. That'd be.
Oh
awesome.
Yes. Oh God, cell shaded graphics with the 90s styled comic action sequences and dialogue, like sign me up. I want that. The Ooze needs a new.
That, yeah.
The Ooze needs a new game, man. It's so good.
Nice. Outrun, Panzer Dragoon.
Outrun, Panzer. Panzer Dragoon did get a remake, didn't it? On the Switch. So yeah, a new game would be nice if they did that.
I'll be honest. I am currently reading a list of Sega franchises. I'm not remembering these.
Thank God. I'm struggling for ideas right now here.
But do you know what this list includes?
What?
Seaman.
Oh, you mean the human fish, the human
with Leonard
fish
Nimoy's voice.
Yes. Oh God, yeah. Okay, yeah. Seaman, I remember it, but I never got the chance to play it because it was just, like I saw ads for it because it looked so weird.
Yeah.
Um, Sega Bass Fishing, if they're willing to, bring
Yeah.
that back, I guess.
Space
If well,
Harrier.
if yeah, Space Harrier, Alien Storm, that needs to come back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh boy, what
Quite a
else?
few
What else can?
Virtua Cop.
Yeah, Virtual Cop, Virtual Quest. Not so much Virtua Tennis because I mean, Sega really didn't like working on that, even though they're getting paid by a tennis organization to work on it.
Hmm.
Um, oh, what else? What else could they throw in
Shenmue.
here? What? Sorry.
Shenmue.
Oh, Shenmue. Yeah. Shenmue 4. Like, yeah, go for that.
Yeah.
Shenmue
Did
4. I
Did
think.
Shenmue 3 do well?
It was a mix of positive and negative, surprisingly.
Uh, I didn't really know about it,
Uh,
so.
Sorry. Um, oh boy, I'm trying to think. What else can they bring to the table?
Toe Jam and Earl.
Sega doesn't own that unfortunately anymore.
Uh,
It's a bit of a shame. I mean, if the developers approach Sega again to publish it, then then welcome back to Toe Jam and Earl. But sadly, I don't see that happening.
oh, fair enough. Anyway, I think that's exhausted that. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, we keep this below an hour. Look, that's cool. Yeah, let us know in the comments what Sega franchises you want to see back. Make sure you check out Fatman and Pop's channel. He has some great videos. I'm putting that link, by the way, to your
No problem,
reaction
man.
to the
And
Sega ones.
And just give a heads up. I've got if you go to my community section on my channel, I am taking requests for retro video game soundtracks. All the information will be there in that community section. So if you've got any retro requests that you want, please let me know and I'll get right to it.
Nice. Yes, I'm gonna make a request in a bit. I think.
Nice.
Yeah. So. Take a look at that. Make sure you request. Make sure you subscribe to Fatman and Pop. Make sure you subscribe to us. We've got more coming. Yeah, no doubt I'll invite you to talk about something else in the future.
No problem, man. It's always been a blast to do these podcasts.
Always enjoy these.
Definitely, it's
Yes.
always been a blast to come back with these podcasts and just chat with you about game stuff, mate. It's just absolutely fantastic.
Nice. So, so thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you in the next one.
See you later, guys.